just giving you guys a little review from the last match against Skyline. So, important game for us this week. So, just a couple things to focus on. Switching the point of attack is really key to move them and their block of defense. Collective defending and dealing with their quick transition to their nine or to their forwards and not allowing them to have too much space. So making sure our defense is compact and not too spread out. And then, of course, marking, not just on set pieces, but, throughout the course. So again, as we look at the last match you guys played against them, switching the ball is obviously key. And the understanding I want you guys to have here is, just remember that as all their players are over here, there's just a ton of space, all over the place. And that's nine of their players. So somewhere there's some open space for us to be able to get the ball. So, if it means dropping out here or playing in to switch the point, it's super important for us because as you see in the loss of possession, now we have to defend quickly. So same thing here. I think Bree, you can probably get the ball over to Lillian there potentially, and just look at all this open space here that you guys would have to be able to play. So, just recognizing against this opponent and being at Evergreen should give us a little bit more space and width and less bumps. But at the end of the day, you can see all the open space is not in the area where we are choosing to constantly play. And clearly we're outnumbered there from them. So even this ball here, is it possible to get the ball into this player here or back in? You can't really see the defender in that area. But it's super important for us to be able to, can we turn the ball and play the ball in back to Sammy there and switch the point? That's, again, ideal. Even in this situation with Jalen, are we able to get the ball and play into this area here and get the opponent away from us a bit more? Not a bad touch there. So again, not bad here. Yes, we have Lillian, our goalkeeper there, but can we get that ball switched? In this situation here, it's not a bad effort to play into there because there's space, but if you play it out here, I think that's Maddie or Ava, as you play it out there, then that just spreads these players out and it maybe gives us a little bit better of an entry pass into the middle. Because you can see as they get collective, with their line here and then their three midfielders there, it's super important for us. This isn't a bad effort, but I think Alicia gets the ball out here or tries to get the ball out here. I think we can trust Lily Lubick or any of the other midfielders that play here, to just get the ball, bounce it back, and then switch the ball. Because you can see that Lubick does have enough time and space to just collect a nice, easy pass, bounce it right back to you, because then that forces these players to go here, and now it frees up the ball out there. Instead of now, this is a kind of a tweener, and now it looks like I think Maddie's just under a little bit too much pressure there. Or maybe that was Catherine. Again, switching the ball. Can we play it to her right away? Instead of that half and half. So she's marked, but our left back isn't marked. So can we just roll it into her feet so that she's able to get the ball under control a bit? Just now we move on to collective defending. Again, look at all of our black shirts. And if we lose the possession of the ball here, what do we look like as a shape? So, our rest defense, there's a lot of space open for them to counterattack here. So once we deliver the ball into there, and you can see how many yellow shirts there are, we've got to start to recognize what's an area, that we need to protect. Okay, good covering from Sammy there. But we've got to make sure we're a little tighter here, a little tighter here. And obviously the midfield needs to work back because it's difficult because they're able to spring counterattacks. And they've got 4 in this area in our half here, but there's a lot of players that are still struggling to get back. So, again, just recognizing that situation because you see now they're in behind us. And again, the coaching point is, Can we stop them at the half line and be a little bit more together in terms of our shape? Again, just free marks, and we're put into a really tough situation there. So pretty good starting shape here, but again, the gap between our back line and our midfield here, where they're able to break the line, is problematic. So again, what right now is happening is there's a 4v1 against their center forward. And again, the tactic that they're employing is just to have players, more central. So it's important for us to really body up on these players, make sure that we're marking, and then, Jay here probably stepping in, to help us collectively defend this area here. And doing it a little bit early makes a lot more sense. Again, good numbers here, but again, there's players running in behind us as opposed to, us being behind, the play and making sure, if she passes it back, there's nothing wrong with that because one of our forwards can come in, wide midfielder obviously comes in to help her. And forcing them backwards is not a bad thing, but having them get free shots inside our 18 is problematic. As we pressure this player right here, what does our shape look like where they're able to get the ball in? Now this player's free, this player's free. We're not really marking up. We're just kind of following the track of the ball. And now once the line's broken here, now they're in a little bit of a jailbreak. It's 4 versus 5, but they're able to get the ball in behind. So again, number one, as this ball gets here, we need to make this play a little bit more predictable. So how we pressure Reagan there is super important. Can we force her to go back? Can we get behind the ball because the ball is on this side? Wide midfield needs to be tucked in there, Chloe. And we just need to have more numbers in this area right here to not allow them to play an entry pass that allows them to break in behind our outside back. Again, we need to be behind the ball or behind our mark as opposed to in front of her because we're still looking at the ball. This player is able to pick up speed, and now it forces center backs to have to run into that space. And as you can see, Sammy's starting to step, and now this is left wide open. So again, keeping our lines organized, staying together, really important so that they don't have runners running into our 18. Super important. Again, with 5 players in front of the ball here, so now dealing with a 5 versus 4, it becomes problematic. So how do we stop that? We need to make sure that this ends right here and there's more cover and we're all sliding over to help out a little bit more. Now, collectively, we've got to absorb, so we've got to start to drop back. This needs to be pressured right away. And she was a little offside, but you can see what they're going to try and do. So super important for us to be smart about this. Again, our back line here, we're still talking about collective defending. Our back line here is really spread out in terms of our shape. And you can see all the players that we have not behind the ball. And all it takes for them to create a 1v1 is just, a 50-50 challenge. And now we're in a little bit of trouble. We just got to apply some pressure. We got to drop back and cover, and allow Bree to step in and go for a harder challenge 35 yards away as opposed to giving her the opportunity to get in front of the goal. Again, there shouldn't be 1v1s against our center backs. This leads to a goal, so again, you should rewind that, take a look at how they're going to transition to attack and put us under that pressure. Again, you can see this collective defending here, problematic, because this is what leads to the corner where they score a goal or they're creating opportunities from their corners. Applying pressure, get closer, needs to drop back, need to drop back. as you guys are still dropping back, there's this huge gap here in between. We just got to get our lines together, and again, it should look like, I apologize, I'll rewind it, but it should look more like this. And if she wants to run offside, she can run offside. Pressure here, pressure there, and then this is what we need to look like. In the worst case scenario, at least 6, 7 players back to stop them from being able to create these 1v1s against our center backs. Now, all of this happened from over here to here, and we still have way too many players relying on the back line to win the ball versus getting back and defending as a group. And again, one missed challenge, one missed tackle, this leads to tough situations where we have to now defend corners and restarts. And as they gain possession of the ball, are we collectively getting together or are we just chasing? That's the key that we have to remember. Got to get back. Too big of a gap right here in between midfielder and back line. Big gap right here. So again, back four needs to stay up. And if they're going to hit a long ball, then we can drop. But it almost looks like you're dropping way too early as a group when your midfield is way up the field. So again, think about it that way. We don't want to have them have too many opportunities because of the gap. You can't even see our back four here. Can't even see the back four there, so it's super important that we stay together. Again, now the back four. Look how far the back four is away from a six or our midfield, and then obviously the gap with our attacking line. So again, this is not going to be conducive. If we get the win and we go into the playoffs, and like we can't defend this spread out. Just creates too many opportunities for the opponent. And again, against a team that has this forward has some ability. This player has some ability. These midfielders and attackers have some ability and can pass the ball. Can't give them that much time and space. And if you rewind, you still can't see where our midfield is now. So again, all of our defenders, our back four are here. You see Lubick. I'm not sure if there's a midfielder there, but everybody else is nowhere to be found. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players. That means there's 5 players up here that aren't helping out, and that's again problematic. So again, giving up these restarts, making sure we're marking, super important. That's on the back post for us. When we have a restart, look at the space that they're giving us right here for a short corner, right back, or Lubick coming out and bouncing it and giving us some space. Watching their goalkeeper punts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players that the ball bypasses. Back four is nowhere to be found, and it's just too spread out for us to be able to defend the goalkeeper's punt. We can drop back and get a little bit more collective, and then if she plays short, we can press. But this is off the punt that they're able to get an opportunity into our own half. Again, pressing their goal kick obviously works for us. And then here's a big 5 moment. We have just scored a goal. Super important that we're marked up on corner kicks when they get the ball, when they get restarts. So again, lots of things to look at. Hopefully it's helpful. You guys played the game, but this gives you an idea of